Thanks, Scott, for reaching out and asking me to come out here tonight, and also the Bismarck Youth Football League as well. You guys have an awesome thing going on. And I put together kind of a little speech tonight that I wanted to kind of follow and take notes, so I didn't talk too long. But you know what? I think I'm not even gonna bring out my notes. I'm just gonna go off the heart tonight and kind of share with you guys, how I'm feeling. So I want to give you a little backdrop real quick about myself before I get into what I want to talk about tonight quickly is mindset, and then also having extreme ownership. Okay. And little couple stories about myself. When I was growing up here in Bismarck, 5th, 6th, kind of 7th grade, I was about a 50-50 wrestler at best. I kind of would take 3rd, 4th place, kind of a 50-50 record. And I remember going into my 7th, going into my 8th grade year, and I told my parents, my coach at the time, Milo Trusty, I said, hey, I want to be the starting varsity 103 pounder as an 8th grader at Bismarck High School next year. And they said, well, you got a lot of work ahead of you then. And I said, I don't care, I want to do whatever it takes. So they set me up with a personal trainer and a personal wrestling coach. And from May until November, I put on 18 pounds. And the 2 kids that I was getting beat off at the spot the year before, I pinned both of them in wrestle-offs. So I say that also to say this, that my senior year in high school, I had to get a 19 on my ACT. It took me 4 tries. 4 tries. So nothing was ever given to me, nothing. And I always had to work my ass off for everything. And I remember the 4th time I got exactly a 19. And that's what got me into the University of Minnesota. So I remember getting a 14, 16, an 18, and then a 19. But it took a lot of hours of tutoring. And fast forward, and why I say all that is because I truly believe that mindset and having extreme ownership in our lives as coaches, as parents, and as mentors is probably the most important thing that we have in front of us. So, kind of a funny story about mindset. So today at about 3 o'clock, I was getting an MRI on my neck because I think I have a slip disc in my neck. And I don't know if a lot of you guys have gotten an MRI before, but they set you up to get you in this room, super uncomfortable. They lay you down. They're like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a problem so far. Let's go." Okay, it's going to take about 30 minutes, just so you know. I was like, all right, well, let's go. Let's get it done. Then they bring this thing, they put it over the top of your face, and it's like maybe an inch away from your face, and I'm like, oh. All right, so here's a button. There's a button. I was like, button for it? Well, in case you need something, or you get nervous, push the button. And I was like, okay. I'm starting to get nervous, my heart's racing a little bit. And then they start to like move you into the thing, and it starts to make the noise, and boom, right away. Negative thoughts start racing into my head. Right away, immediately. Back to when I know as I was a kid growing up, and then even nowadays, working, in the real world, we all struggle with these. We're all gonna have negative and positive thoughts that race through our head. Doesn't matter how old you are. And it doesn't matter, what's going on in your life. We all have things, right? We all have things that we struggle with. And I remember sitting in that MRI machine and being like, oh, you can push the button. Maybe. Oh, Travis, calm down, deep breaths. And it was all starting to set in today. And I'm like, what am I getting worried about? I've been through wrestling, I've been through college, I'm a father, But I started telling myself, Travis, those thoughts aren't your thoughts, get those thoughts out of your head. Those aren't your thoughts, get those thoughts out of your head. You can do this, it's just an MRI. But I don't know if any of you guys have been through an MRI. That was actually kind of scary. But why I say that is that as coaches, we're challenged, and this is what I tell a lot of people as I say that our number one competitor as coaches, and I know this is a youth league, right? And I know I coach high school, but still, I believe it doesn't matter the age of the kid. we have a duty as coaches. That's a privilege to be able to coach. It doesn't matter if they're third graders, fifth graders, eighth graders, seniors in high school. We have a duty to these kids to give 100% every single day that we coach them. Right? And why I say that is because a lot of times we make excuses. Because I know I have too. I have too as a coach. You know, oh, that team has that. You know, that team does this. They have the money. Oh, look at their coaches. Da 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 da. Those are those negative thoughts, right? Those are those negative thoughts that you got to train yourself throughout time to knock those thoughts out and put those thoughts out of your head. And it's not easy. It doesn't come overnight. It's not like it's a magic, a magic thing that you tell yourself that, oh, I'm going to start telling myself positive thoughts, and then it's going to be good the first time I do it. And that takes weeks, that takes months of training your brain that and talking to people and working that through. So as a coach, you're fully suited to coach these kids, right? And to have extreme ownership. I don't know if you guys have read the book. It's actually called Extreme Ownership. If not, it's an amazing book, by the way. Is that it basically says that 95% of what happens to you is your fault. And I know that's a really kind of tough thing, because when I heard that right away, and before I read that book, I was like, yeah, right. Maybe half, right? But there's a lot of things that aren't my fault, and it was his fault, and that coach, and this kid, and kids being a little, And once I started to embrace, actually, that might be my fault. Was I giving it 100%? Or was I letting my own personal, selfish kind of means get in the way of me coaching this kid or work with that client, right? Or, was that getting in the way of my relationship with my fiance, right? So what I challenge you guys with tonight is to think about every day that you guys wake up. Are you guys taking ownership? And not just with coaching. I'm not going to lie. Every day I tell myself I am so blessed and I am so grateful that I'm able to coach kids, because you would have talked to me my senior year in college. Hey, Travis, you going to coach when you get out of college? I said no. I said, nah, I won't do that. So I'm going to be a national champion this year, and then I'm going to kind of just let wrestling go to the side for a while and get a job and, travel and do stuff like that. But it's funny what happens with life, right? So my senior year in college, I was ranked number 1 in the nation, undefeated going into the national NCAA tournament, and I got upset in the quarterfinals by the 8th seed. The guy was 16 and 15, and I was 36 and 0. And I still remember about an hour and a half before the match, I went to my coach and I was like, Coach, I'm not feeling good. I'm kind of nervous. And he's like, oh, you're fine. And I still remember, this is one of the biggest things that I take to the season every year when I coach the Bismarck High Demons, is I say, I try to push and pump into my wrestlers as much as I can. If you're ever nervous, or if anything's ever bothering you, come grab me and we can go talk about it. If we need to get outside in the arena, or if we need to talk about it, whatever you need. Maybe we need to go in the locker room, whatever. Because I didn't do that, and I knew I needed to do that, but I was, 22, 23 years old, and I was battling my own negative thoughts coming into my head, and I didn't deal with them. I just said, oh, they're going to be all right. I'm just going to get out there and we'll see what happens. Well, it didn't turn out very well. And it burns, and it still burns to this day, and I truly believe that the Lord let that happen to me so that I would coach, because I know that I am blessed to coach and mentor kids. And I don't know if I wouldn't have lost that match, if I would have or I wouldn't have. I just know how I feel now. And I know exactly how I feel right now. And I know that I don't want other kids to make the same mistakes that I made. And that's what fuels me as a coach. So I challenge you. I know a lot of people in here, you got to find your why. right? So a lot of teachers, doctors, people like that, I want to save people. That's my why, that's my mission, right? That's my passion, so that's what I do for a living. I have a little bit of a different spin on that now. Okay? As I've been kind of putting that into my own head, instead of finding my why, because I believe that changes, and I know I'm only 33, 34 years old, but I've been through a lot. If I told you what happened to me my first year in college, you guys, some of you might fall out of your chairs. It was a wild year. What I was saying is that instead of finding your why, find your energy. Okay, so let me break that down real quick. So what energizes you? What gets you going? Right? You might love coaching, or you might love teaching, or you might have your career that you're in, but inside of that, what energizes you? Kind of like a car, right? A car doesn't run without a battery. So us as coaches and us as mentors, it's our duty to find our energy every single day. And it might change. It might change. Your energy might be in a few different pockets in your coaching. But are you giving your kids 100% every single day? And I know you might have a down day. For sure. I mean, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I don't have perfect 100% days every single day. But I try 99% of every single day. I try 99.9. And when I'm feeling down, I talk myself through it. And I pray. And I talk about it to myself. I'm mindful about that because I know how powerful that is. Because I'm going to leave with this. To this day, there's 3 wrestling coaches in my life. One that was with me back when I was 5 years old when I started wrestling. And the other 2 that were high school coaches at Bismarck High School. Brad Stoltno and Jeff Schumacher. The other one, Milo Trusser. To this day, I don't go a week without talking to one of those men. It's because those men understand that coaching just isn't about practice. It's not about drills and games and winning or losing. Yeah, winning's awesome, I'm not going to lie. I love to win. Okay? But with those men and what we need to understand is we might be really good at coaching and we might really love the sport of football and wrestling in my case. But the impact that we can have in any given moment, any day, or any year, or with any kid, that lives a whole lifetime. And I can tell you that. And I know a lot of you guys believe that as well. But a lot of times we forget that. We forget that because life's tough. It is. But to understand that we have a duty as coaches. It's not just a job. We have a duty to give back to others and to mentor others on and off the field and on and off the mat. Thank you guys.